Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Tracy with JDL Threads. Thanks for stopping by again. And so you know what they say, it's the most wonderful time of the year. So what are we going to be doing? Embroidery all day. And what are we going to be embroidering today? Well, I thought I would just embroider a nice Christmas shirt. This is a Gildan heavy cotton Christmas shirt that we're going to put some Christmas decorations on. And as promised, I'm going to show you my attempt at using this Hoop Master Mighty Hoop system right here so that I can try to get my designs in the center and possibly as straight as I can get it with the help of my hoop station here. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to do my embroidery on this 10 by 10 Mighty Hoop. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up, and we are going to push the slides up here, turn our Mighty Hoop so that this little slot fits into this little groove down here, and then we're going to just get that to where it sits in there. Now what I did is I did put my holes here on the, I believe it's the second row with the little black pen. It all just depends on where you want your embroidery design to start. Embroidering at the top of your shirt is to how far up or how far down you're going to push your little guides here. So I think that's pretty good where I have it, and then I'm just not going to even lock these. I'm just going to let it stay sliding. Then we're going to take my cutaway stabilizer, and we're just going to, I'm not going to use the black things here because when I did do a first attempt to put them there, it wasn't really acting the way that I wanted it to act. So I'm going to lay mine sideways instead of up and down because this particular cutaway stabilizer is not as wide as the other one that I had. Maybe on my wider one, when I get back to that bowl, I will go ahead and try to do it up and down. But for this one, we're going to do it side to side. And then we're just going to take our shirt and make sure we have the right side facing to the front here. We're going to put it over to the top of this hoop here. I'm just going to hold my cutaway stabilizer down since I don't have it locked down. And we're going to find the center of our shirt, which I do see a line here. Center line. And what I think I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to attempt to put the top of the collar up against the top of this frame here, because that way it'll hopefully put my designs 3 fingers down from the hoop once I get that set up there. So we're going to go ahead and put our top frame on, and let's see, 3 fingers down. That's about right because it's going to start embroidering about here, which is about a ½ inch away from the hoop frame, and which is about 3 fingers down from where I want my embroidery design to start. Okay, these are our center points on our hoop, and everything looks pretty centered and straight. So that's good. We're going to go ahead and take it off now, and then I'll meet you guys over at the embroidery machine to put the frame in, and I'll show you what design we're going to be stitching out today. All right, you guys, and welcome back. So now we are at our Ricoma MT1501 embroidery machine where we're going to be stitching out our Christmas design. Let me just pull it up on my phone for you guys because I want you to get a look at it first. There's the design right there, you guys. I hope you can see that. Let me just turn off my light back there on my embroidery machine. So there's the design that we're going to be stitching out. It's a mama bear design that I put together, and we're going to go ahead and get that stitched out. So it is going to have some applique in there. So we are going to do some framing out on those MAMA letters so that we can go ahead and put our stitches down for our applique and our fabric, and we can go ahead and cut that fabric out before we do our satin stitches around those letters. So we're going to go ahead and put our embroidery hoop into our embroidery machine. Again, you guys, making sure that we have clearance down here where our bar is, that our shirt falls underneath that bar so that we don't stitch our shirt front to back together once we go to embroider. Now, the most important thing that we are going to do, we have our design already loaded into our embroidery machine. We are going to do our trace to make sure that our needle does not hit our frame right there. So I'm going to go ahead. I've already did a trace, but I'm going to go ahead and do the trace again to let you guys see that what it looks like. I like to do my traces without my fabric in there the first time, and then put my fabric in there hooped up and do my trace again. So let me go ahead and show you guys the trace. I'm just going to go ahead and do a slow redraw trace because I've already done my first very fast trace. And as you can see, follow this needle here, needle number 1, and it is very much away from that embroidery hoop because we don't want anything hitting that embroidery hoop, the needles and the foot here, damaging our embroidery machine or our embroidery hoop. We want everything nice and out of the way. So that looks really good. Everything is falling into place really good. And what I am going to be doing on this particular one for the bear that you saw on the bottom and the little stockings, I'm also going to be using some water soluble stabilizer down there, because when I did stitch it out the first time on practice test on a practice t-shirt that I had, the stitches did fall through a little bit, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and just use some water soluble stabilizer down there on the bottom, just so those stitches can stand up straight and tall and not sink into my t-shirt fabric. So you guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Remember, on the mama letters, we are going to frame out each time after the placement stitch and before the satin stitch, so that we can go ahead and get our fabric cut out. And I'll show you guys what that looks like once I get my fabric loaded on there and get that stitched out. And I'll show you guys what that looks like once I get the fabric laid down. All right, let's get to stitching, you guys. All right, and as you guys can see, that first M is stitched out there, and I don't know why I have all these little extra tails, but I'm going to go ahead and cut those off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the embroidery hoop from the machine, go put down my fabric, and I'll be back to let you guys see what that looks like. Oops, I'm sorry guys, I'm getting ahead of myself here, wrong step, because I need to lay down my fabric first and then take my hoop out. So let me just go ahead and put that back in there. Check to make sure there's nothing underneath there. And I'm going to get my fabric swatch cut out here. It's a cute little Christmas cat and Christmas trees, because my client has cats, and I wanted to make sure that I got the cats into the embroidery some kind of way, and also the Christmas tree. So I'm just going to lay it down. See, there's our first little fabric for our M, and see, we're going to try to get most of that Christmas tree and the little cat face in as much as the embroidery as possible. So we got that laid down. We're going to push our frame back in. Let me double check one more time. I think I want to scoot it over just a little bit more, and we're going to go ahead and stitch down our placement stitch on top of our fabric. I also want to let you guys know that what I did do is I did put some heat and bond light on the bottom of my fabric so that it will make the fabric more nice and firm. I didn't do the double-sided heat and bond because I accidentally just got the wrong one. But what I did find out is that even though it's not double-sided, it is going to still lay down really, really nice on top of the t-shirt fabric so that it's not, you know, moving around too much. Versus the first test that I did when I didn't have that heat and bond light on there, and it just was kind of moving around way too much. So the double-sided one is good if you want to go ahead and iron it again once you get done with your design. But I feel like this is pretty good. It's keeping the fabric from moving around a lot, and it works just as good as the double-sided one. So we're going to go with that. All right, let me remove my frame, and I'm going to get this M cut out so I can show you guys what's going to happen next. Now, you do want to make sure that you are cutting as close to your stitch line as possible, but don't cut through that stitch line because you want to make sure that your satin stitch is going to catch all that fabric around your lettering. This is really, really tedious here. So I'm going to let you guys see what this one looks like once I get done with this here M. And we'll get it back into the embroidery machine and let you see what that satin stitch looks like. And this is also a good time to just ask you guys, if you're enjoying my videos, please like, share, and subscribe for me. It really does help my channel out. All right, guys, I've gone ahead and cut out my fabric around that M there. There were a few little spots that were just so close up in there, so tedious. I didn't want to take the chance of cutting the shirt, so I'm just going to leave those up in that little part, and I just cut out the M closer down to the bottom so that we won't cut our shirt, because that just wouldn't be good if we did all this work and cut that shirt, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and push my frame back in, and we're going to reach under the bottom to make sure our shirt is all the way around that leg, and we're going to press start so that it can go ahead and do that satin stitch. Oh, well, this one, the way that it's set up, it didn't want to do the satin stitch right after the placement stitch. I think this one is going to do all the placement stitches first and then go back and do all the satin stitches. So that's fine. Either way is fine. It'll work both fine just ways. So it'll work fine both ways. So we're going to go ahead and do our A. And then I'll show you what our fabric on our A is going to look like. So this is going to be the fabric for the A, and if you guys can see that, it does have that heat and bond light on the back, and we're going to go ahead and place that down so that we can go ahead and get that stitched on the top, and then I'll have to do the same thing. I'll have to go around. Well, this placement A didn't come out so good. I'll have to go around and trim that fabric off. Once we get our A situated exactly where we want it. Let's see here. So I want to get most of this. So I'm going to just push it up there. Push my frame back in. and go ahead so we can do our stitch around our A, you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and hold this so it doesn't move. Oh, it looks like let me stop that. It looks like my thread has come out of my needle, so I got to go ahead and put that back in. So give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. And I'm going to turn my light on right now temporarily so that I can see that hole on the needle better. I turn it off for you guys because it just makes it better for you to see the design when it's stitching out, I think. But let me just go ahead and get this loaded back in here. Take our handy little tweezers, grab the thread from the back and pull it on through, you guys. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and just reposition our thread, my fabric back under here to try to get as much of the lettering as possible. I'm going to hold that down. I think I'm going to just go ahead and use my tweezers because that is kind of close. I'm going to back it up a few stitches. Hold that down. And we're going to go ahead and press start. All right, you guys, and the second letter is done. So we're going to go ahead and take this one out, and I'll be back after I've cut out the fabric. All right, you guys, and we're back. I've gotten that fabric cut out around that A as best that I could. I think I'm going to go ahead and just leave this circle in here because again, like I said, I don't want to take no chances of cutting that t-shirt, since this is my only second attempt at cutting out these holes for the applique. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that in there. Maybe as I do it a few more times, I'll go ahead and, you know, try to take those out. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and leave them in there, guys. So I'm going to push my frame back in, check to make sure that my shirt is going around the leg down there, or the bar, whatever you call that thing. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Press start so we can go to that next letter, which is going to be the other M. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and extend that frame back in there. Lay down my fabric for my M. Make sure it's covering up pretty good. I really kind of want to get that the white snowflake in there right there a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and push that one down here. And we're going to go ahead and hit that start button so we can tack our... Oh, that one didn't want to tack my fabric down for the M. Well, you guys, I don't know how I put this one in. But that's fine. We can go ahead and do our last A. And then we can just add both of our fabrics at the end, guys. All All right, now it should go ahead and lay my fabric down on top of my M. So I'm going to go ahead and push the frame back in, lay down my fabric for my M. I think I want it to go this way so we can catch most of that snowflake. And we're going to go ahead and push start. Okay. Doesn't want to get my M, wants to do my A first. Okay, guys, I wasn't sure exactly. I didn't know that I had these out of order. So it's not a problem. Went ahead and just cut out my fabric for my A then. Not a problem. Maybe I just didn't have my steps in there right, but it's not a problem. We would just watch it. And try to make sure that we get the fabric in there for our other M when it's supposed to be in there. Now these are some cute little cats that I found also. So we want to get most of the cats down there. So I think I'm gonna push it right there, and let's hit our start button. All right, there we go. We're just a little bit letters off, but that's okay, guys. We're still going to get the same results here. So let me just cut this A out. All right, you guys, back one more time to put that M fabric down. And then we should be on to getting our satin stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and put that frame back in. And one more time, make sure, let me just frame that back out so that I can see better. Make sure that I got as many of those snowflakes in there as possible. Yeah, that's good, I think. Make sure it's covering all the way up. Make sure that our arm is going under around our fabric, and we'll go ahead and get that M stitch down, you guys. Let me just get my tweezers so I can hold that down because I'm not sure where this is gonna land here. Looking good, you guys, looking good. Gonna go ahead and just get this M cut out now. All right, everybody, I'm back. Now we have all of our letters MA cut out with our fabric attached. So we're gonna go ahead and load our frame back into our machine. Just gonna try to get some of these fuzzies off here. And we're gonna extend our frame back in, and we should be ready for our final satin stitch all the way around all of our fabric. So let's get it started, you guys. All right, guys. So our mama design is done. There is a few more designs that I want to put in this shirt, but it's just going to make this video way too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to show you what it looks like before and after my cleanup. So this is before my cleanup. It looks pretty good, right? It looks pretty good, right? My over here, I could have got a little bit closer to my stitch line to get that fabric a little bit more under those satin stitches, but I think for a first try it's pretty good. So I got to straighten out some of my colors because I'm one color off on my design, and I'm gonna stitch the rest of the design out and clean it up, and I'll be back to show you guys what that looks like.